This is Rafiq Luzon, and you are tuned in to Nothing But That Sports Talk. Welcome to another episode of Nothing But That Sports Talk. And we back with Wavy's World himself, Ryan Walker. Welcome back to the show.
Absolutely in the building. Look it up there, boy.
Yes, I see your podcast. I want to say congratulations on starting Wavy's World because, I mean, I've been entering Wavy's World literally for the past 6 years, but you took it to a whole new level.
Oh man, God is God is great. And like you said, we've been doing projects from before COVID, going to the studios on 29th between 8th. Is that 8th, 7th and 8th? And we started doing Zooms together when COVID came in. And that was that was brilliant when you brought it up. I mean, of course, that was the new thing that was the innovative, but you caught it very early. And when you introduced me to it, when we all was going through COVID, I was surprised at first. I was like, oh, okay. And so we've been doing projects together, and we'll still do projects together, as you can see clearly. Duh, we're always gonna do stuff with Nothing But the Sports Talk this summer, and you'll talk to and explain your side too, of course. And it just got so busy for us. I mean, like you said, I'll go into this one with Wavy's World, and shout out to my man Thomas, for NYC Elite 32, and H2O, of course, Mr. Haran Hargrave, H2O, for from Ballin for Peace. Those guys two together when they combine together, but they always do work together, and they seen the vision. I didn't present anything to them. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got introduced. I've been knew about Ballin for Peace, but when I became active to be a part of it was of course through Slim and Box Office. Shout out to my man Slim the announcer, top five. We had him on Wavy's World. The shows will be out next week. So everybody will see that. We had Slim the announcer, my man White, me back the president on Instagram. You can follow him. And we also had Leaky Roof. You're gonna see some other snippets coming of that too. And let me make sure I'm saying it right. Natalia Perez on the Instagram as the.real.nat. If I'm not sure. I get that. Queen Nat. I'm sorry. So it's the.real.queen.nat. But she also Natalia Perez, she was on the show. She was very, 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 very informative, very good. She does the stuff with Crash the Industry, and she has two other conglomerates. One of them is also, with Crash or something as well too. But she used to be on Channel 12 News in Phoenix. Boom, came back to New York, has her own industry thing. So, like we said, we could follow into that. The podcast can speak more. But Thomas and H2O, they throughout the years was with doing little announcing here and there, because Box Office and Slim was always the main one. Remember, Slim is the face of it. Box Office, they would come and do the collabos together. So I will always come through and announce the end part of games. I always come for something else, you know what I'm saying, and do one or two games here. Just sticking with them over the time. Like I said, I was talking with H2. I said I remember when the time when he seen something different from me. I think it was the time that me and Slim always will do E4C Day, and we're gonna do it again this year. We did it again 2 years ago. He couldn't do it that day last year. I forgot he had to do something. It was just so crazy at the end. So I had to do the event, and I did it by myself. And I think he heard me the whole day with the middle school thing and the high school and the pro am games. And I did everything by myself, a long full day. I was already doing stuff for him, so then more became more of a nucleus then. And then, like I said, over the last year with announcing more with him for the middle school stuff. And Thomas, I did the thing at Queens College. Oh God, when we were at Queens College, the week after um Bowling for Peace at John Jay. So that might have been June 20 something.
Mm-hmm.
I did that event, and Thomas was there, and Thomas seen how I was keep the mic to announce, you could hear, but not all the way through the gym. You know what I'm saying? It was loud, you could hear it, but not all the way, especially how the speaker system was. But you could hear it enough. And then there were 16 courts of basketball. When I tell you, there was like 12, 14 courts of basketball. So there's no way there's referees all over and there's players all over here and there's moms and dads and coaches and everybody and kids. And then the vendors came a little. So with that day now, it was more of marketing. Like, listen, Ballin for Peace, NYC Elite 32. I shouted out the brands, the different coaches, the more information per se about the programs. And then like when it was on the big court, we would do that game like that one, especially when the day ended more and less teams and less noise distraction from everywhere. So Thomas got a synergy with me from there, and H2O actually about a year ago presented like a little idea like this, but and then we spoke about it again a couple of months ago, like February months, like he come on and we spoke about it, and then it wasn't until Thomas with that part, and then they now they as everything was building up, so it needed the time, and as it built it up, I'm sorry, I know I'm dragging, I'm trying to get off this so you get to it. As we started building it up, they called me out the blue. I mean, I promise you, I think maybe about to the date now, we want to sing about maybe 6 to 8 weeks ago, and we threw the idea out. And I said, all right, boom, let's do it. And he said, all right, we're going to get to it real soon. And then 2 weeks later, he's like, listen, everything got it. Here's the script, boo, boo. Be yourself, be creative, do your own thing. But these are questions we're going to ask them. Don't feel free to bring your own set of questions, interject in. We're going to set up a lot of format. If you want guests too, bring your guests. We're gonna trust everybody's creative side, and we're gonna do this podcast. And like, boom, the next week comes, and we're recording. So it's a beautiful thing. Now we're on episode 5, because like I said, we did the first 2 with the co-founders, and this week we did one with Natalia Perez, Leaky Roof, and Slim and White, and Slim the announcer and White. So
yeah, I see the clips. Can't wait to see you do it. Can't wait to see you drop it.
Man. Yeah, and then and then that's my pivot to say, I mean, you were doing interviews at the Barclays, you did Pro City, you were at NY Classic, you were at what's that thing? Oh God, did you go to that thing? The content creators, right? Right. So we've been so busy the last few weeks. It's been difficult to even get right here right now. So it's good to be back, and Wavy World is doing very well for itself, and it's gonna get better and better. You're gonna keep seeing the different people come on the show, and everybody's really gonna get to tell their journey and their path, and of course how it's incorporated with NYC Elite 32 or either Ballin for Peace, and we're going to talk about everything, the culture, the music, sports, of course, basketball, the organizations. Everything is candidly talked about on the show. Very informative, very articulate, but still, very trendy for everybody to catch. And that's it. We're on episode 5, and we'll be filming episode 6. Now we're going to go every 2 weeks. So after that, we're gonna take a little break. I think it's like the week after Labor Day or something like that. I have the text somewhere here. We're gonna do that and keep going and doing dates every 2 weeks, and just keep building, man. It's a great thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a great thing, and hopefully you could actually chop it up and find a way to get on the show very soon. Once it actually, well, obviously next month's gonna be a bad time, but my business St. John's. So I need to keep repeating it over and over. I told you off the air, my business with St. John's. You know St. John's, right? The school where we're once a squad for Jamaica Queens that went by the name of New York's team, who won the biggest tournament, made to the round of 32. But that's a conversation for another day. Yeah, that's St. John's.
Oh, come on, it's a big East.
Yes.
Big St. John's, big Ian Jackson coming home. It's a good thing. They're doing good things down there. Patino's doing good things. That right. Everything is going in.
Yeah, but we'll probably get more depth on that another time. But obviously, let's transition to the state of summer basketball, because as you already know, I've been covering Pro City. I managed to meet Dave Eat. He's very interesting rapper and a very nice guy. And some of the major, and there were some good highlights during Pro City. I mean, the same Anthony Diaz that balled out at New York versus New York, he balled out for Nike Select, and he carried them all the way to the semifinals, doing a lot better than I thought. But what really stood out to me, which may not be as good as Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle when they appeared in Pro City about 3 years ago, but it has to be Andre Drummond managed to get some work in Nike Pro City, even though they got shellaxed, but I can't feel my face. The fact of the matter is, he showed you what he could do for SOG. And then, yeah, of course, the next takeover, Warren and John Starks, I had a chance to speak with them like after every game to get their perspective on Nike Pro City. Marvin shared that he played at Pro City, and he always gave advice that you have to play hard, give everything you got when you're playing in leagues like this, in any particular pro league. And you obviously see the interviews. You saw what we talked. We over it over the phone. That's besides the point. I managed to get those great, interesting clips. And oh yeah, I managed to get some video reels of the one basketball tournament, the global finals will continue in Pier 17. Can't wait to get recap on that in the next episode with anybody that covers it. Now, obviously, I didn't really get to cover Pro City Championship the same way I covered Pro City all season, and I already told you why over the phone. But all I'm gonna say is, Victory Park is bad. It is a lot better to do it at Brooklyn Bridge Park than it is at Central Park. Let's be honest. The sun's not breathing down on you. You get to have a good time.
Right. At least you still got to be there. That was pretty cool. So it's a nice looking venue. I told you I was supposed to be there that day. Hey, but it's so crazy. Like I told you, I got up that day. H2O called me, and I think I took a nap, and I had told the guys from Brooklyn that I was gonna go out there to announce anyway. So like when the phone rang, I was like, oh, what are those? Oh, when I get back up, I'll call. And it was already over, and I already was in the mode of going to Brooklyn. So I started there. I wasn't going to leave. Like, oh yeah, I can get into the classics. So I'm going. So if I would have answered originally and known, then I would have made plans to change, and I would say, hey guys, I'm gonna go down and go watch some basketball at the rink. So same thing like today. I just told you, while we're doing the show, like I talking about going to the Eggman, I said, listen, if you drive, I go. If not, I am not going nowhere. But that's the whole logistics of it. It's been so busy. It's been so good. Everything in the sports world is flowing. You know what I'm saying? The podcast, what you're doing, NFL season approaching, baseball season, getting to the nitty gritty. NBA will be back. College is right around the corner, like you said. High school, and you was talking about Anderson Diaz, and he's just been so incredible. As the summer he's had in high school player and to an MVP at Pro City. As a high school player, 17 years old. I mean, barely, is a super. We're definitely he's good. He's definitely on pace to be a very special New York point guard if he continues to go in the process that he's going, with him being class of 2027. The world this year is his. At Lawrence Woodmere. I don't know any specifics, but I know Lawrence Woodmere is going through a few issues. I think school wise, but I think everything should be okay. I spoke with my man, Dominique Williams, who's a coach on the regional staff. And those pops is down there, Hank Williams Senior, and the younger brother, Hank Williams Jr., plays on the team. So hopefully, whatever is going on school wise and program wise works out well, because that's the school he's at. If not, actually, you know what? And I think he's playing with an overtime elite team now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he's already off and gone, which makes sense. I mean, the kid, he's special. There hasn't been a place where he hasn't played like in the last few months and performed. And let me tell you something. The Lawrence Woodman staff, like, Tiny was there for a lot of them, but Tiny will let them run it. Skip, Mr. Ray for Austin, Skip, let me tell you something. And Skip was
kind of gives you that resilience of him. He reminds me of him.
yeah. Skip is Rafe is so. I love the way he coached, and I always tell him that. I said I love it. That's how we grew up, and you have to be tough and on point with these kids. Sharp, and if and you've come by plenty of times, but me and Patrick used to sit there all day for years for the ISA sessions, and we used to grab our chair and watch all day. If you watch how excuse me, I'm thinking of basketball days. Rafer, if you watch how not Rafer, I'm sorry, actually I'm bugging, not even Rafer. Oh God, kill me on the show. Kenny Satterfield, excuse me, Kenny Satterfield, Cincinnati University. That's where he attended. Kenny Satterfield. When Kenny was coaching him at ISA, let me tell you, brother, tough on the kids and demanded excellence. And this is before this year now. This is early at the beginning of that fall and that spring session because that's when he after the things all boom he played with ISA and he came in there. They I think they wanted no he the year Skip Kenny won with Kip Spade. That's when Nigel James was the point guard. But there was another year Anderson and them was there and he was tough on them and boy we see some of how that demand and that work it pays off. He had a phenomenal year and now he's on the overtime elite and he can showcase his talents.
Mm-hmm. What's there to say? I got my first glimpse of that kid at the Nike Switch Classic last year, and he literally gave South Shore the work. And he gave Canarsie the work as well. Anderson Diaz is shown to be unguardable. And he showcased himself at the All-Star American, Slam Summer Classic. I almost said All-Star American game. But yeah, these young kids, this kid, man, he's the future of basketball, without question.
Right? Anderson is tough. Left-handed, shifty, can dribble it, can shoot the three, shoot the mid-range, finish at the rim, layup, very capable of going upstairs, can pass it, point guard, can rebound it, start the floor. They demand on him to make sure he plays defense, so he gets out there. He's tough, man. This is it's tough guard.
Yeah, he's definitely tough to guard. All right. Now we transition a little bit to some NFL talk, and obviously the NFL season's coming up. The Giants go 3-0 in the preseason, and Jackson Dirt showed you what he could do. Literally over 400 yards and 3 touchdowns in total during his plays on the field. So, yeah, obviously a year ago, the Giants only won 3 games and lost 14. They even had like a 18 streak at one point. And I know you look at me like, so this won't me, but hear me out. They start the regular season against the Washington Commanders. What is your confidence level that the Giants could at least surpass 3 games, 3 victories last season?
Well, they better. No numerical number. They've had to get more than 3 wins. I would pray. But I like Dart. He's a good kid. He shows a lot of good things and promise. He did very well in college. He's ready to one day be a quarterback in this league. But for me, everybody, please, let's stop. Please stop. He's a third string quarterback on the team. He's a good kid. He's gonna grow and he's gonna learn and develop. He's gonna watch behind uh, Russell and is that
Tommy
Jameis
DeVito.
Winston? Huh?
Russell Wilson and Tommy DeVito. He's gonna watch.
Tommy DeVito, what? Tommy, stop it.
Tommy DeVito. Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito. I'm kidding.
Stop it. They got who's the other backup? Is it a Jameis Winston?
Yeah, Jameis Winston.
Yeah, Russell and Jameis Winston. Don't tell me about no damn.
They used him in the preseason game against the Patriots. They used him in the preseason game against the Patriots. He managed to get a touchdown yesterday.
Let's back up again. Let's take a pin. Let's back up. I like Tommy DeVito. God bless him. He's a good kid. When we were very egregious about 2 years ago, but we've been egregious over the last 900 years, so it doesn't matter anyway. When we were egregious 2 years ago, he gave them a little bit of life and fight because he's a good storyline, Italian kid. Went to Don Presco Prep in Jersey, home kid. And it was good for a little time on fun. And he did good. Listen, God bless him. From my eye test, he is not a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's always going to be a backup or a third string guy. I don't even think he's a second string. He's a third string guy. But here goes the crazy thing. Even though Dart is young, to me, in my eyes, just alone with the preseason, and I wouldn't go there, just alone with talent level he had to compete at in college, Dart is better than DeVito now. So don't put no DeVito ahead of Dart because there is no DeVito ahead of Dart. It's Dart ahead of DeVito.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's the first thing. And then the backup with Dart, he's doing good things and showing good things. But we also have to remember this is preseason. This is not the first line of every front that you're going to get for both sides, offensively and defensively. When September, the first weekend of Labor Day starts, you're getting the first string of everybody's team. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
The speed is going to be different. The game, the calls, the plan coaches of how they go about games is going to be different on teams. So that's different from there to there. I want him to be on the sidelines and to absorb everything that Jameis Winston, of course, what Russell's doing, who's a consummate veteran and has no problem teaching and grooming him, as they said too, because the both guys have said so. He's going to learn by accident what's behind them. Brian Daboll's been there. He's shown more propensity, excluding the last 2 years with Jones, just egregious anyway at times, but egregious, excuse me. But he's shown to do well with quarterbacks, so I think they'll be fine. What the point of the matter is that they have Russell Wilson, who is a veteran starting quarterback, who we know for the most part can make the throws and the plays. He usually is not an interception turnover machine, even though he can have his times too as well, especially if he holds on to the football too long or tries to make too much of a play. But he's learned to do that better over his time because sometimes he's gotten his bell rung and knows that you can't do that crap consistently no more. He's a starting quarterback. By God, in a crazy world, if he's not playing well or he gets hurt or something like that, you have Jameis Winston as a backup quarterback who has thrown 4,000 yards in this league before and thrown for plus 25 touchdowns in a season, so he knows he can make plays. What is Jameis Winston's biggest problem? He throws interceptions like a son of a gun. Okay? But when he's not throwing those interceptions, which he does a lot, because as much as he can get the ball down the field, he has a big time arm, and he's a serviceable quarterback. So if Russell doesn't work out, then it's Jameis Winston. And let me tell you this as a Giants fan, I pray that what I say is wrong. That's the first thing I say with this last part. If we see Dart this year, we're in trouble. Do you hear me?
Really? Even after the preseason
if Dart, are you on drugs?
No.
Are you okay?
I'm just no. I'm just saying. I'll get back to your conversation a little bit, but Jackson third, 154 yards in the Buffalo, 130 yards in the
first game. When is the Giants' first game of the NFL?
Against the Commanders on the road.
Oh my God, Rafiq. You're talking about preseason? Are you really?
You talking about preseason?
Hold on.
There are people that
Rafiq, who if you're a smart sports guy, Rafiq, you go to St. John's. You are on the radio show casting for the baseball team. You're a smart guy. If you are the head coach for the Giants and your next football game is in 2 weekends, right? Mm-hmm. Who is your starting quarterback? I'm asking you, Rafiq, who is the starting quarterback for the Giants?
I would pick Russell Wilson.
Who's the starting quarterback?
Russell Wilson.
Who's your backup?
My backup, I would pick Jameis Winston.
No. Right. And then who's your third string?
My third string, okay, Jackson third. I'm definitely going to put as my third string ahead of Tommy DeVito, who's going to be my fourth string. So that's not
right. So if we see Dart this year, we're in trouble.
So I'm just saying, as useful as he was in the preseason, you really think that the good quarterback play during preseason won't translate into the regular season, or at least the first few weeks? I'm just saying.
I never said that. What I said to you is if Dart ends up on the field this season, we're in trouble because the starter is Russell Wilson. The Giants are actually, remember, there's money involved too. The Giants are actually praying that Russell Wilson can play all 17 games. That's their bet. I, this is me. This is the loser Giants fan. This is me. 3-13 me. Me. They're praying Russell can play all
14,
17 games.
being 14.
Russell has shown a little propensity to get hurt. 3-14, 3-19, they stunk. They stink. If they want him to play all 17 games, but however, over the last few years, even though Russell has still been um an adequate quarterback, he's not the Seattle Seahawks prime one, but he's still adequate. He has also got injured, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if he by chance gets injured, Rafiq, I'll run it down for you. Let's suppose Russell Wilson plays the first 8 weeks of the season. Then I'm going to get to you about the Giants Washington thing. Let's suppose Russell plays the first 8 weeks and he get hurt. I don't want no horrific injury. Let's suppose Russell out for 3-4 weeks, right? If Jameis Winston get in there and in those 4 weeks he go 2-2, and let's suppose Jameis get hurt. If Dart gotta come and start as a young kid in the middle of the season for the New York Giants in New York City and State with the headlines how we move at the end of the year, that's not what we want.
It's not.
They want this kid to absorb everything and try to get the most and get everything there. And then maybe like a next year or even the next, then you're the starter. If it happens early, and I'm telling you now, knock on wood, if he does well early, by all means, I'll be the happiest son of a gun in the history of life. But the probability of him doing well in a team in an organization that, regardless, we've had two decent seasons in the last. So you can't blind me, not blind me, you can't fault me for saying I don't want that now. I want him to be able to sit down like an Aaron Rodgers for a while, absorb everything, and then I know he got the talent for him to go in there and do that. See, the problem is that I actually want him to play right away, but when the Giants organization brings in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, that doesn't sound like you want him to play right away.
You got points.
Who is the starting quarterback for Washington? A kid that started last year.
Jason Dales, and we saw how good Jaden Daniels, and we saw how good he is, leading them to the conference championship game.
But he's got the keys to the car. He knows he's the guaranteed starter. Dart is not the starter. Russell Wilson is the starter. They're going to start off the season like that, and then they'll see where it goes from there. Do I think they have a chance to win the wild? And now back to what you said with the season. First of all, the schedule makers are the meanest son of a guns to us. How dare to have the first two games of the season on the road against division opponents. Wow. The 3-14 team gets that. We got to play Washington in Washington and then go play Dallas the week after that. And then when we do come home, it's national TV against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's
I,
beautiful.
yeah. The Giants have the hardest schedule.
So, with that being said, they do have a chance to win the Washington game. Washington, excluding the quarterback, and Daniels is a stud, so he can win the game by himself. But they're having a few issues over there. I think with some guys with like contract and money issue injuries. So if we're gonna get them, we can get them now. The Giants do have a lot of talent. Whether it's gonna matriculate right away, especially on the defensive end, they
Yeah.
got a lot of guys that can fly around. If they can manufacture it, they can definitely go down to Washington and steal it. Washington got the big, the Giants, even throughout all their mediocrity over the last few years, have always found a way to beat Washington, excluding last season. So, um, if they can get down there and play well, and it's any given Sunday, and compete around, and Russell can definitely keep with a guy like Russell, as long as he's upright and healthy, and they block for him, and you give him time, he's gonna make plays. And with that, that gives us a chance, especially if the defense can fly around. They're gonna need it because Daniels is an absolute stud.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Now makes our win-loss predictions for the upcoming NFL season. I'm gonna challenge your brain for a little bit. I'm gonna pick a game. I'm gonna pick a gamble and take the Giants to defeat the Washington Commanders on the road week 1. What about you?
I wish I had spreads. Um, we ain't got no spread, no. I'm gonna go for gambling purpose. I'm gonna go Washington on that one. I'm gonna say Washington. I want the Giants to win. You know where my heart is. You know I'm gonna be watching like an idiot on Sunday at 1 o'clock. So I
Okay.
want the Giants to win, but I'm gonna go Washington.
Okay. Week 2. I can't pick it to beat the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not doing it. Even with the Michael Parsons, even with they're having their own problems with Michael Parsons requesting a trade. But let's be honest, he's gonna probably stay on the roster at least to begin the season.
They
The
ain't
Giants
going
are gonna
nowhere.
get clobbered. The Giants are gonna get clobbered in Arlington, Texas. Yeah, I got the Giants losing that game. What about you?
To the Cowboys?
Yeah.
No, I got us. I got us winning that game. Um, I like how
Okay.
I got us winning that game, and it's going to be very tough coming off if they lose from Washington. But I think they're going to find a way. If they're gonna if they're gonna find a way to stay and make any sense for what you're telling me in the season, they got to win that game in Dallas. That I think that'd be a very good game to try to get them. It's not going to be impossible. They got a lot to play with too, though, because their quarterback had an injury season. He signed for big money from before that, so now he wants to redeem and show himself. Some guy they got dissension there too. Like I said, I don't know. I think we can catch them because Micah Parsons will have to play for them. He's under contract. It's not going to work any other way. He sits out. He doesn't get paid, so he'll play. But we can clearly see that for this season, he's going to be down with his teammates, but he's not locked in. He wants to do other things. But I'll say yes. I'll take we beat Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. All right. Now week 3, the Kansas City Chiefs run up in the Super Bowl last year and they literally 150 away for the first ever NFL three-peats. But that does not change the fact that they literally built a dynasty in the 2020s after winning against San Francisco twice and the team they got smoked by in the Super Bowl last year. I'm going to pick the Giants to lose it home against Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and let's stop after week 4. We'll get to the other week when we eye test. And after week 4, we stop. When we see some of the middle of the season, we get a better analysis how the end of the month goes. I'm gonna say the Giants lose that game, and I'm gonna say no, regardless of whoever they play next, they win that game. Then that game's the 2-2 for the first month.
Yeah, week 4, they face Los Angeles Chargers. They'll probably beat the Los Angeles Chargers. They just have to figure out a way to slow down Justin Herbert. It's not going to be easy, but if Abdul Carter learns the defense system very fast as a top pick the Giants expected them to be, they should shut down Justin Herbert. It
They
shouldn't be
should.
a problem. I got the Giants at least winning that game. So to look back at the first month of the season, I have no faith in it being Washington, Dallas, and Kansas. They're going to be 1-3 to start the season.
And I'm fine with that. I'm realistic. But I'll be watching every week. I'm an idiotic fan. What the heck's going on in baseball? Jesus Christ, the Mets and the Yankees. Preferably more the Mets. Yikes.
You know what? While we're on the subject of talking about baseball, geez. Both teams start off with some of the best records in baseball. Now they regress big time. The Mets have had a point where they've blown leads like it was going out of style at one point, and even at a 7-game losing streak against teams they're supposed to win. They only take one game for the Washington Nationals. They did win the series against the Seattle Mariners, but they lost a game against them too after lead early. Like the pitch is just not there, and the pitching coach, I don't know, man. I just don't know. But with that being said, Will the Mets? Where do the Mets go from here?
So crazy. I was speaking to this lady at my job. She's a huge Mets fan, one of the residents, and this other guy's a Mets fan. The I now I'm a little nervous. I wasn't nervous before for them, but now I'm a little nervous. The Yankees did them a favor because we swept St. Louis. And that kept St. Louis about 6 games back. Now I turned around. St. Louis is like 3 games back of the Mets. That's not good. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, the Mets are in the fifth playoff spot. I believe it's the Milwaukee Brewers have the best record in baseball. They'll have the number one slot, right? I believe after that it's the
It's the
Dodgers with the
Dodgers.
better record, then the
You got the
Phillies.
Dodgers. There's the Cubs. There's the Padres.
No, 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 slow down though. But for playoffs, you have to go to division winners first. So who's the division winner now? It's Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and who's the other division winner?
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers. So those are the three spots. So Milwaukee will be the one seed. The Dodgers will be two right now. The Dodgers have a better record than Phillies, right? At the moment.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's the Brewers and the Phillies. Those are the top two. Then the Dodgers. They're number. They have the third best
All right.
record in the National League. So
Right. And then after that, now you have to look for who has the most wins from all the teams left. After the three division winners.
the
Who has the
Cubs,
next
the Padres, and the Mets. And the Mets, they're hanging on by a thread. But they do
correct.
3 game series with the Cincinnati Reds next month during the road trip at one point in September. So those games will probably determine whether or not the Mets make the postseason or at least improve their chances. They have to win at least 2 out of 3 in Cincinnati when they meet them in the month of September. And then they have to win at least some games against the Philadelphia Phillies in order for the chance to win the division to increase, which is
Yeah.
unlikely.
They're not winning the division.
Yeah, you're right. They're not winning the division,
They're
but
not winning the
let's
division.
not forget the Mets did beat the Brewers and the Phillies in the postseason last year. We can't just ignore that.
No,
We can't ignore that.
they have talent and they have no starting pitching. And everybody keeps getting decimated by injuries, so that's even worse. And their bullpen is not that extraordinary either. And Edwin Diaz is not the same Edwin Diaz from before. So, with that being said, they can hit when they are hitting. But when they're not, boy, they're strikeout, double play, ground out to being happening. God bless Juan Soto. He made a lot of money. He did the best thing I think he whatever for himself. God bless him. He's not playing as good as he should, but it's different when you're the man on the team compared to whatever. Lindor to me is the best player on that team. Maybe not the highest paid, but the best player, or at least position player playing consistently on both sides. They they need pitching, and the chemistry and the camaraderie just doesn't seem to be the same like it has over the last 2 years from before. Pitching coach is definitely going to be in trouble. The manager is in trouble, and they got to win those series, and they got to get back in it. If they don't do that,
Got to win
they're going
those
to be
series.
in
Yeah.
trouble.
And also, they have like a 3 game set against the San Diego Padres, who they got swept by earlier
But they
this
can't beat.
and the Chicago Cubs. They did win 2 out of 3 against them earlier in the year, but that was when the Mets were playing at their best. But the
If
Cubs,
they can get into the playoffs and they're hitting, they're not a team that you want to play with because Alonso can hit it. Soto is a generational hitter per se. Lindor is very good in the postseason, very clutch. They still have the other young guys, Vientos and those guys, who's shown that they can hit in the postseason from last year. But we'll see how far that can go, and they'll really have to catch Genie in a bottle because I just can't see it. At least from that, and they don't have enough arms. So I mean, it'll really. I'm a New Yorker, so I don't want to do that. But I'll tell you this much: if this Mets team in the first year after the big offseason they did economically doesn't make the postseason, that should be a big topic of conversation. And I will never let any one of the Mets fans that I know the end of it. To know that you spent $760 million on this guy, and in the first year you can't even get to the postseason, and you have 14 more with him. Now we're not playing any greater. We picked it up to play better baseball over the last 2 3 weeks. God bless. But we can't beat anybody in the division. Every time we see, excluding Tampa, we can beat Tampa. We can't beat Baltimore. We cannot beat Boston. They beat us 6 straight. Hopefully, there's not 7 straight tonight.
Yeah, you lost them last night. Ouch. And as we're talking about the Yankees, at least they're
Yeah. So hopefully they
one of the top
figure
teams in the
something
wild
out.
card. They just have to win the series. They just have to make sure they don't get swept by the Red Sox, because if they get swept by the Red Sox in the Bronx, that's going to be a problem. That's what started the losing in the first place.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big problem. They just need to go 2 out of 3. They don't even need 1 out of 3. Keep going forward. Going forward, they just gotta say, let's get 2 out of 3. Let's get 2 out of 3. If they can do that, they can control that destiny and stay in the fourth slot. I do not. I think they have a 10% chance of winning the division. I think the division is very far fetched. Toronto's a very good team. They have arms. They definitely can hit the baseball. I think they develop enough of a gap where they should be fine. Mathematically, the Yankees can try to, but they haven't. That's the big problem. They haven't proven that they can beat the Blue Jays and the Red Sox enough, and that's going to be difficult with trying to get to catch up to them in the division. They'll have to get into a nice winning streak. So I just think they'll be good. You're in the fourth spot now. Do your job and win games enough so that you can keep that and go into the playoffs as a wild card, and anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen in the postseason, but as we always saw, the best records are always guaranteeing trip to World Series. I mean, let's not forget, like I mentioned earlier, a year ago, we saw the Mets get through the Brewers and the Phillies to get to the NLCS against the Dodgers team. And I warned you about the Dodgers so many times. They beat both of us.
I don't think you warned me about the Dodgers. I wasn't going to resolute to any America and any kid in America and any person in America, excuse me, last September, with me even knowing how good they are, to say, yeah, they're going to beat my Yankees. I just wasn't going to say that. They took care of their business and they went out and they kicked butt, and that's what they were supposed to do, and God bless them. Um, that's why I wish we could get into a better groove, because I really want to play them again. I would really love to be able to be the victor, not the spoils this time against them. But they have a great team. They have, the generational and great player with Otani. Not the best player in baseball. The best player in baseball is Aaron Judge. But the a great talent. They have a great team. Mookie Betts and all those guys. They have a lot of arms. They're in, trying to go back to back, and in the postseason, even with them not looking as Goliath as they were last year, they're still the champions. They won. They could probably have a little bit of a hangover, because at the end of the day, they're not really concerned about the first 162 games. They know that they're going to qualify for a postseason somehow, some way. And with their experience and winning and savvy, they're going to try to let that propel them into the postseason. If they get in there and they're playing hot, there's not going to be anybody really in the National League that's going to want to really play them. But they have to be careful. The Phillies are good. The Brewers are good, even though the Brewers always be good and choke in postseason. But that's a whole different other topic. And the Padres are really good, and that's the biggest problem to the Mets. The Padres are Mets killers, and if the Padres get in, that I would hate for the Mets to want to see them in a matchup.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to face the Padres either when they're good.
And the Yankees just can't beat nobody in their division. Welcome to New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Now I know I mean you got to transition back into football, because they have yet to get to the New York Jets.
Yes. I'm sorry. We got to talk about gangrene.
Last season they let Aaron Rodgers go. He signs with Pittsburgh, and now he's playing. Now they picked up Justin Fields, the same Justin Fields that the Jets should have tanked to get in 2021, when they only had a 2-win season back in 2020. They should have picked him up, but yeah, instead you settle for Zach Wilson, and look how Zach Wilson worked out. It's the same thing. You have not made the playoffs in 14 years. Now you expect Justin Fields, who only had 5 starts last season with the Pittsburgh Steelers and didn't go nowhere in Chicago, to do something. But let's be realistic. What is your mindset with the New York Jets?
Listen, honest to God, I think I know it's going to be hard because it's New York, but I think the fan base and the staff should be very patient with Justin. You still have to remember he's still a young quarterback, a young kid in this league. He showed spurts of good times in Chicago, and he showed bad times, right? And now he's on the Jets team, and I know he has a strong arm. I know he's a heck of an athlete. He can make plays and throwing on the run, and he's got heart. He wants to win. He's also wasn't not on a good team in Chicago, so the O line wasn't always great all the time. He never had like a running back. He never had like any good great receivers to throw the ball to. Coaching staff, different things have differentiate there. He's on a team. The Jets were very deep, and there's a lot of talent on the Jets locker room, and there's a lot of good players on the defense. They signed Wilson to a big time contract. He has to live up to his money. So he has. They need to be patient with him, but he will have the opportunity to be successful. What he has to do is grow as a quarterback. He has to trust the pocket and patience a little bit more and make those reads, and not think that he needs to always deviate out on his legs to try to make a play and go from there. Trust what the Jets got, and he'd be happy. If if he cannot progress as a quarterback and make plays, they could be in trouble because he's not the most accurate per se. But when he's playing well, he's pretty good, and I think they should be all right. They just got to just be patient with him.
Yeah, they should be okay. They have to be patient when it goes to this New York Jets team. I mean, it's all about
Yeah,
patience.
they have to. The kid.
Now, see how they're going to start off the first four games of the season.
Yeah, that's for the first four.
I got the picks. Surprisingly, I have to be in the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't have no faith in Aaron Rodgers in the Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. He's gonna struggle.
Jets lose.
Yeah, the Jets losing to the Steelers.
Trust me. Rodgers gonna play his best game of his life. I think he trying to only stuff that motivate him is self motivation stuff. So him having the fact to try to kill the Jets after just leaving there after he was absolutely horrific would be motivation for Rodgers. And the Steelers are a better football team. The Jets will have to play on the road, even though the Jets historically have always played good football and win against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'm gonna pick that one. I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh.
Okay, fine, whatever. All right, week 2 at home against the Buffalo Bills. The Jets, at the very least, they managed to split with the Buffalo Bills when they're at the top of the game. I'm gonna pick up to beat the Buffalo
Jets win.
Bills. Yeah,
Yeah, Jets win.
yeah, I agree with you. Week 3 on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I have the Jets winning that game as well. It shouldn't be
Who they
that
play
hard.
week 4?
Huh? Week 4, they're on the road
Who
against
they
the
play
Miami
week 4?
Dolphins. They're on the road against the Miami Dolphins in
All
week
right.
4. I'm gonna surprisingly, I haven't lose to the Miami Dolphins. They can't stop Tua Tagovailoa.
They lose to Tampa and they beat Miami. Bobbing.
Okay, yeah. All right, fine. I'll get back to
And you
you.
know why I'm gonna do it? I'm gonna pick it that way because I'm gonna have the Jets winning their first 2 division games and losing the other out of division games. They're gonna go two and
Okay.
two in the first month, and they're gonna win both their division games. So even though they're going to be average and people are going to be like, oh, the Jets suck, they're going to be 2 wins in the division and at 500. That's where I got them locked in at. They could beat Miami. They always go down there and do good against Miami unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, you got an interesting point. You have an interesting point. All right. That wraps up this episode of the Put That Sports Talk. And yeah, don't forget to check out my interview with Steele's Vision's own Mariah Steele's as she continued to give her perspective on the University of York Summer basketball. Obviously, we had to break down the stance of a classic in our age, and I'm going to tell you, and obviously, watching it from outside, it was a great experience. I didn't get a chance to talk too much, but yeah, it got a little chaotic with the fans trying to get inside. But on the plus side, I got interviewed by NBA 2K TV. So that's one good thing that happened to me when I went there.
That was dope.
Don't forget to
That was pretty cool.
my appearance on that clip because, yeah, as I mentioned, it's the future of basketball. It's the Sam Smith Classic. I don't know how you would have handled it. I mean, if you go back next year, you've been around summer basketball long enough to know that for the most hype games, you have to camp out.
Yeah, unfortunately, unless you're on a certain list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I can say. And good luck with the rest of your coverage of announcing. I can't wait to continue doing more shows with you again. And yeah, for Brian Walker, I'm Rafiq Luzon. We'll see you next time.
Broadway Park playoff Sunday. We outside.
Nice.